I decided to spend my day doing something in the yard, but what? Should I fill my watermill, or should I do something else? Aha, I have some meat. Why not cook it? And in the meantime, upgrade my water wheel. I know what I want. I want an automatic grilling machine. So, I'll build one. Every construction starts with a plan, and I do have a plan in my head. I select the place and bring a wheelbarrow full of gravel to make the first level of the basement. And before this, I took away some soil for a basement and used a metal bar to make sure it's the proper length for the construction. Now I'm going to make a flat surface. Now after this, I put a layer of bricks to have a more solid structure. I took a branch of a tree and with my axe I made a pillar. And then with a crowbar in my hands, I dug a hole to install it. Time to fix the upright pillar. To put it in the soil and to check the level. Is it horizontal? Yeah, it is. Last year I had some construction done and some bricks were left over, so it's a good use of them today. I did a second layer of a basement on top of the gravel, and now I'm erecting the wall. Pyramid style, you know, like in Egypt. The sheep wanted to bring me an old jar, but I refused. I kept the whole carcass of a lamb in a cold place. It was a young one, and they're the tastiest. No insides, no skin, just ready to cook. I start to cut it on a wooden plate from the stomach side. Remove the fat, which is not needed, and check for parts that I don't need. I'm going to take away all the ribs as well. Unfortunately, I've got to do it one by one meticulously. And I'm using a really very sharp knife. I don't need the ribs in the dish that I'm going to make. A backbone goes next, shanks and other bones. I'm going to use them later for the broth. Okay, that's it. Now I have everything I need. A piece of flesh, no bones, only meat. The only thing is it's not quite square, and for this dish I really need it to be a square, so I cut out what I want and make it into a perfect square. You know, meats really like spices, so I put them on. Salt, black pepper, and paprika, turmeric. In fact, you can add pretty much whatever you want. I put that mix on the meat. It has a delicious look already, and no smell at all. Young sheep don't normally have any smell, older ones tend to. Anyway, I wrap it around to give time for spices to melt with the meat and the huge sausage we've got. Okay, so now I'm gonna add red sweet onion. It will give a taste and smell, and at the same time, no bitterness in the dish. I do put quite a lot of it. Mushrooms also to give a delicate smell and taste, also quite a lot of them. I chop them in pieces. Red bell pepper will give us its taste and aroma. So we really will have a symphony of different scents. And now I cut green chili. And I'm making sure that I remove the seeds. We don't want it too hot. Okay, so the onion goes on the fire. I put just a little bit of oil, you know, just to fry it, but not to boil it. Hello, Master. Don't you see I'm eating this tough plant? Don't you have something better for me? Oh, tangerine. Thanks a lot. Okay, so the onion's got its temperature, and it's time to mix it with the rest of the vegetables. I don't put any tangerine there. It goes to my cute goat. Ah, here we go. All food is better with garlic. Even an ice cream. I'm probably going to need a lot of garlic. It now goes into the mix, but I'm making sure that I don't burn it. I just want to make sure it gives away all of its aroma. So, mushrooms and a little bit of salt, and I mix it again to combine it with the oil. Now I'm going to add some dried barberry berries. We normally pick them in the forest, or we send Red Riding Hood to do it. Anyway, tomato, well, I just cut them, but you can also peel it before cutting. Tomato gives a kind of a sour note to the mix, but it's also very healthy for men, but only if thermic treatment is applied. So, I take the basin away from the fire and leave it to cool to some extent. And then after this, I spread out the meat blanket and put an even layer of vegetable mix on it. Now I'm going to put hard cheese on the top, a lot of it, with a very thick layer. And then start to make a huge roll, Azeri style, not Japanese. As a core, the metal tube is used with aluminium cooking foil wrapped around. And then I apply a little pressure to make sure it's tight and well sealed. Okay, so now I take the rope and I make a straight corset for my meat lady. A tight one, with a lot of stitches around. The rope has to be thick because it has to sustain high temperatures. So now it's time to check the automatic grill powered by water. So I bring and install the metal bar, fixing it with a nail, and then open the water flow by removing the damper. The coals are already hot because I started the fire an hour ago, so we start the grilling process. As I already have some coals ready, I think I'll make some tea in a real old-time samovar, which I inherited from my grandmother. I insert coals into the top of it, and to improve the draw on the fire inside, I put a high tube on the top. Tea and samovar remind me about my parents' home. When I was a child, we used to have meatloaf only when celebrating big events, like my sister's wedding, or my returning from army service. And lamb meat is probably one of the most common meats in the country, and we use it on a daily basis. Okay, so the grill is rotating, the heat is doing well, and due to the brick wall, the heat spreads nice and evenly. Water in the samovar is boiling. I put tea leaves in a small pot to brew and bring samovar to a table, and then install the pot on top of the tube to keep it hot. Tea time. Strong, hot tea, boiling water, some sugar. It's pretty fresh outside, so the hot drink makes me feel relaxed. And the smell from the meat is divine. Soy sauce, honey and sugar mixed and melted together will make a really salty caramelized liquid if I spread it on top of the lamb whilst it's being grilled. I use a special cooking pan for this to cover it all over the meat. It gives it a lovely extra taste and crispiness. As the embers were dying out, I had to add some wood on the side of the fireplace. The heat will be kept in due to the brick wall. I wait a little more, and the meat is ready. And I switch off my automatic water grilling machine. So I can take away the meat tube. And when doing it, don't forget to use gloves, as the tube is really hot. I bring my sausage over to a plate, and you'll notice that the tube comes out really easily, and that means that the meat is perfect. Yeah, this knife is really sharp. The meat is soft, juicy and crispy. It's a divine food, there's no other words for it. I cut it into pieces and try. Super.
Super.